Hello everybody watching us today and welcome to a new edition of Havis in English. Today's guest, Jim Fox, is at the same time also our host. Why is that? Because we are at the clubhouse of Rotary Club Marbella Guadalmina and Jim is the current president of the club. Jim, I have known you for many years, I think close to 15 years.
Yes, indeed.
But I never asked you, what brought you to Spain?
My wife, actually. She always loved Spain, and our business was good. We spent many, many years building our business up, and towards the end of the 90s, she said, now I'm going to hold you to this promise. When are we going to have a house in Spain? And I was cooked. I had no choice. So we came to Marbella, which is her favourite place to be. We stayed at the Don Pepe Hotel. And we had some friends here who took us out to dinner. And we parked outside a house. And the friend said, it's all right to park outside this house. They're friends of ours, but they're not there today. And my wife said, I like that house. And I said, what? She said, I like that house. And I said, it's terrible. She said, no, I want to buy this house. I said, we haven't looked at any others. She said, no, I want to buy this house. And we bought that house. And she spent the last 15 years pulling it to pieces. It's nearly finished. But that's how we ended up in Spain. And it was supposed to be a holiday home because we still have a business and a house in England. But we spend more and more time here, and it becomes more and more comfortable to be here. And so that's why we're here. And it's difficult because I still have a business and I have to fly backwards and forwards. But my wife now, she has a little arthritis. And the weather here, of course, is fantastic for arthritis. She feels a lot better. And the Spanish way of life just suits us right down to the ground. So that's why we're here.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. So one could say that you fell in love with Spain and you feel it a second home.
Oh, very, very much so. My wife would call it her first home. We say, up here, English, corazón español.
This is really beautiful. So is this also the reason why you joined the Rotary and to give something back to society? Could one say so?
I would say yes, but let's be honest, to begin with. You're looking for friends when you come to a strange country. Obviously, we don't speak the language. We're kind of old. And you have to be very careful out here what friends you choose. And we were introduced to Rotary by a lovely German lady who introduced us initially to the Benavís Club. It was Gisela. And of course we didn't speak Spanish. She said, but there is a new club just being formed down the way. I'll take you there. And it was this club, and it was English speaking. And they were lovely people. They were charming, they were friendly, and we were welcomed into their small community as it was then. And we loved being with those people. Therefore, Rotary embraced us. They caught us with their friendship. But as we got caught up with Rotary, we could see the objectives and their ideas were brilliant. And therefore, it's a high commitment. You should try and come every week if you can. And my wife and I did. And we both became members. And that was 6 years ago. And bit by bit, you join into the committees that are going on, and you get involved with the various activities and fun things, the dances and pleasure with things we were doing. And bit by bit, we became more and more involved in the club until in the end, they said, it's your turn to be president, which is always very worrying, but hence I am president.
This sounds really, really good. But talking about giving back to society, you are involved in some local projects. For example, Hogar Betania. What could you do? Can you explain a little bit about Hogar Betania, what they are and what the club's done for them?
Yeah, let's go back a little bit. Basically, we're a club of expats. We are 10 different nationalities. We're English, Scottish, Swedish, Danish, German, and we're all foreigners in this country. We're guests of Spain. We're here because we love it, as I've already said, and to be honest, we're quite successful people, hence we're expats. So we want to give something back to Spain. They're giving us a lot of friendship, and we want to give something back. So we have charities, we're collecting funds, and one of them, as you mentioned, was Britannia, which is in a very, very poor area of Spain, just near Gibraltar. It's La Linea. And it's a homeless charity, and it was started by a very energetic lady who managed to get a lot of help from the local council. She managed to find a building that she was repairing from nothing, and she got us involved with her enthusiasm. So for the last 3 or 4 years we've been collecting funds and helping her to build that project. And I know that project is not only housing homeless people, and I'm afraid some sad ladies who have been battered by their husbands and so on, but not only that, they're going to a lot of trouble to feed people who have no food, and also attempting to get them back on the straight and narrow. They're clothing them, getting them smarter so that they can get job interviews and so on. So it's not just helping them on the first aid problem, but to get them back on their feet and back into the world. It's a very worthwhile charity, and my heart goes out to the lady who runs it, because it's hard work and she has a way of getting everybody working for her, and good luck to her. So that's that one. There's a SEPSA, which is a new charity for us. It's in San Pedro, and it's for the mentally handicapped. And again, some wonderful people are putting it together, and they just needed help. And all we have to do is find the funds. And what I've got to do now is say that when we're finding funds, it's not hard work for us at all. We have fun. We go out on rallies, we have parties, we have dances, we have raffles, and we enjoy each other's company, and we collect people to us so that we enjoy each other's friendship and have a good time. But at the same time, almost imperceptibly, the money starts flowing, and we have wealthy donors, we have wealthy people who support us, and we find that in the end we do find enough money to help considerably these charities that need us. And so we have fun and we fundraise at the same time.
The Rotary principle is to make projects sustainable, right? Once you withdraw, and I learned you did a great project for Britannia, which is very sustainable. You bought them a photovoltaic unit with solar panels so they can produce their own electricity. Would you like to tell us a little about how that worked?
I don't know too much about that, in all honesty. I'm not even sure how much money we raised for them over the last 3 years. You might know better than I, but many thousands of euros. And typically, though, we don't just give money to these charities. We are very careful where the money goes. We like to see the end use of it. We make sure that every single penny we give is spent properly and does not get lost, if you can imagine, on unwise or unnecessary expenses. So we are given projects like the solar panels, like the security doors. We are given the quotations and we pay for them, and we are given the receipts. So we know every penny we've spent has been spent on something wisely and useful. And the solar panels, I forget, was many tens of thousands of euros. So not only did we find it, we found others who were going to help us with the money as well.
Yes, and you always have members that also support projects individually, right? That give their own money. You actually sponsored a car, a van for Concordia Anti-AIDS within only one meeting. I remember you put how many euros together? 5,000, 6,000. And you turned the car over to Princess Marie-Louise of Prussia, who's the president of Concordia. That was last Friday.
Absolutely. I've got to tell you, it was an amazing meeting. The princess is a lovely, lovely lady, and she was here with her husband. And she said that she needed a car to get people to and from hospital. And she was trying to find 5,000 euros to buy a small car. And one of our members just stood up and said, "We don't have to go out, we'll do this today." And he was absolutely right. He said, "I'll give 1,000 euros. Anyone else going to give 1,000 euros? Another, yeah. Inside half an hour, we had found sufficient money to buy the car. And the princess was very, very grateful, but she also very clever. She said, "Well, now you found the money, perhaps you can find the car." And we have That's a little harder. But one of our members, as you know, is a motoring correspondent for the magazines here, Ian Coor. And so we gave him the problem. And off he went, and he actually found a very nice second-hand car, 4 doors, automatic, just as the princess asked, and actually slightly cheaper than she thought it was going to be. And so we found the car, we paid for it, but we also had its sign written. Because one of the things the governor, that's the Rotary governor, is asking us is not to do things silently and quietly, but to tell people that Rotary is out there doing things for the local community. And so we now have a beautiful car for Concordia and the Princess, but it has Rotary Guadalmina and the little wheel on the side and the back. So everywhere it goes, they'll be thinking of us. And we handed that car over to the Princess on Friday, and there were lots of photographs, and as the governor asked, we're going to publicize that as far as we can.
So do good and talk about it.
I'm sorry?
Do good and talk about it.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. It's not the English way, I must say. Normally we like to do things quietly, but the Spanish are different. And they said, no, if you're going to do it, flaunt it. And that's what we're doing. And hence today we've got these lovely people with the television cameras saying, here we are, we're Rotary, we're having a great time, but we're also helping the community. It's not only the local community, as you know, we are helping some of the projects for the disadvantaged in Africa with water treatment, for education for young girls, and it's good because again we've got people who actually go out there, see what our money is being spent on, and it makes us feel good as well as being good. We've even got one of our members, a chap who's going to be president next year, and he really does get his hands dirty. Wrong words if you like, because he actually goes into the desert in North Africa and finds the children with bad teeth, and they're called the dental mavericks. And they, at their own cost, they go out there with toothbrushes, toothpaste, and do dental work on children, frankly, who have never seen a dentist in their lives, have never seen a toothbrush, toothpaste, and they do now. It took some while for them to build up courage to come and see him, but they go right out into the desert, and I would consider that kind of dangerous, but no, the children come, and they're getting used to come. And now they're actually going out to the Syrian refugees in Greece because there are similar problems there. And he's quite a guy. I mean, us armchair philanthropists are fine, but he goes out and does it, and well done to him.
So Rotary is really hands-on. It is helping people, but it is not just helping with money as we learn. It is also really, well, getting your hands dirty, like you say.
Absolutely.
And you just gave a big portion of sturgeon to the refugees, to Estepona Town Hall. That was quite a story. 5 tons of a warehouse that went bankrupt.
Yes, are we allowed to talk about that?
I think so.
Okay. Our secretary, he was given the lowdown that there was a warehouse that needed emptying of its food stock, and it was bankrupt and they needed it out. And he said, could you do something? He said, what have you got? And he said, I've got about 5 tons of food. Now, it would have been easy just to back off, but Mark, our secretary, isn't that sort of guy. And he said, yeah, we'll have that, we can do that.
And we did it, right?
You did it, absolutely.
So we here, there are really some wonderful social projects in Rotary, and Rotarians do not only give money, they also get their hands dirty. We thank everybody for watching us today, and please be our guest again next week. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.